thought I'd take a moment and talk to you about what do you eat during a disaster. In the end of 2004, when Ivan took us off the map, we had everything go underwater, and the whole area, we ended up eating a lot of meals ready to eat, the MREs. They're very, very good, but the military handed those out, and we also were fed when they cleared the roads enough by the Red Cross, and that was very, very nice also. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think the next, with all of these hurricanes coming and other disasters, we're not going to get the support and help that we got last time. I don't think so. We're going to have to be better prepared. A lot of the stuff that you depend on every day, unless you're really thinking about it, is refrigerated or frozen. And what happened with the power being out, you tried to not open up the refrigerators or the freezers, but eventually they just warmed up, and everything, we had block parties where we'd have the grills and we'd all just eat whatever we could before it went bad. Everybody was just trying to, share their food because it was all going to be spoiled. And the lesson that I learned was you want to have a lot of water, and you want to have food that is just add water. Don't add milk, don't add butter, just water. And here's a couple of ideas. I don't know how much you've thought about it, but you don't want to make bread. You don't want to have yeast rising and all of that. You want to add water, and these make, in a frying pan, little biscuits, cheese and garlic biscuit mix, for example, or cornbread. You want to have rice mixes and soup mixes, ramen. You want to have rice and beans, and canned jars are great. You're going to have hot water is terrible. You're going to want tea or something of that nature. You want to have a lot of pastas, and you want to have some sauces on hand. You want to have canned meats, tuna fish, for example, or hash, beans, and again, soup. But primarily when you're walking through and you're looking with your mentality of what should be on your shelf, you should be looking for things that are just add water. The best advice I can give you. As far as when power comes on, in certain areas, they're going to shut off all the power. Everybody's going to be shut down. And then after a real disaster, certain places aren't going to get power for months. Okay, they got to clear the roads, they have to bring in crews. And there's going to be, it's very dangerous. If you can navigate the roads, and the likelihood is zero, but if you could, there's nothing open. And when the power does start to come back on, they're going to go to where a lot of the fast food joints are, because they want to start, they want those places open so the public will have food. And which brings up another point. You need to have money during a disaster, and you need to have it in small bills, 1s, 5s, 10s, and you need to have a lot of pocket change, because convenience stores may open but they don't have power, and they'll sell to you, but you have to have exact change for them. Gas stations, they don't have power. Their pumps don't pump. If it flooded, you could get water in your gas. But they're going to start with the hospitals, and they're going to start with the road with all the fast food restaurants on it. As far as cooking goes, the grill is always the standby. It's what everybody thinks about. But you're going to run out of propane. Okay? And these little stoves that we've been working on, I'm going to show them to you in a minute, the alcohol stoves. When they open up a large store, rubbing alcohol is not on everybody's list, so you're more apt to be able to get rubbing alcohol than anything else. So it is a good place to start. So let me show you your other options. Far and away, my very favorite way to cook would be the rocket stove, and it has so many advantages. It doesn't burn a lot of fuel, it does it very efficiently, it does it fast. During a disaster, you're going to have a lot of material that you can break apart, furniture and fences and that kind of thing, because debris is going to be everywhere. You're going to see a lot of trees that are down that you can break up. And it doesn't have to be super dry. These things work very well. My first choice, long term, would be a rocket stove. Beats all of the other choices. My second choice for cooking would be that alcohol heater on one of my videos, where you take the toilet paper, you put it inside, and then you saturate it with alcohol, and the toilet paper becomes a wick. If you put, well, I'll show you how to cook on this in a minute, but it's a heater, and you can cook with it. That's my second. Now, if you're, in an emergency situation where a car broke down, or you're backpacking, or something of that nature, this little heater or this little stove that in one of the videos we make, this works very well. And a lot of people make stands for them, and they make a windbreak. You know how to do that. I'm not really into that so much, but what I would do is take a piece of flashing and cut it. Okay? And I just used a hole punch to make it so that some air can circulate around it. See that? And I used a paper clip. Whatever width for the pot that you're using, and I just used a couple of paper clips to hold the thing together. And I'll show you real quick. You put a little alcohol into it. Light it. It's that quick. Put your ring around it. When it heats up a little bit, you can put your fry pan right on it, or boil your water or what have you. It's a super efficient, they're great. Another quick way to make a stand for this, just 3 empty cans. Light your fire. You have a stove. Really works well. Now, if you're trying to cook something large, or boil a lot of water, use this little heater that we made with the toilet paper. Just light it up. Stick it in between a couple of cinder blocks or big rocks or something like that. Now you have another stove. Okay? If you put a lid on it, right, you can cook your cornbread or your muffins. Works real well. Okay? If you have a Dutch oven, you've got a stove now. You can boil water with this. This really works very, very well also. That brings me to another point. Cookware. I would invest in cast iron. You're going to be doing a lot more camp cooking than you ever imagined. Until the next video.
camp cooking.